Day 57, Deuteronomy 29 through 32. Renewal of the covenant. 29. Renewal of the covenant. 30. Prosperity after turning to the Lord. The offer of life or death. 31. Joshua to succeed Moses. Public reading of the law. Israel's rebellion predicted. 32. The Song of Moses. Chapter 32. The warning and consoling words of God sent down from heaven should sink into our hearts and soften them as the rain softens the earth, so make us fruitful in obedience.
Chapter 29. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. Moses called to all Israel and said to them, You have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his land. The great trials which your eyes saw, the signs and those great wonders. But the Lord has not given you a heart to know, and eyes to see, and ears to hear to this day. I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes have not grown old on you, and your shoe has not grown old on your foot. You have not eaten bread, neither have you drunk wine or strong drink, that you may know that I am the Lord your God. When you came to this place, Sihon the king of Heshbon, and Og the king of Bashan came out against us to battle, and we struck them, and we took their land, and gave it for an inheritance to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to the half-tribe of the Manassites. Keep therefore the words of this covenant, and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do. You stand this day all of you before the Lord your God, your heads, your tribes, your elders, and your officers, even all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and your foreigner who is in the midst of your camps, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, that you may enter into the covenant of the Lord your God, and into his oath, which the Lord your God makes with you this day, that he may establish you this day to himself for a people, and that he may be to you a God, as he spoke to you, and as he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath, but with him who stands here with us this day before the Lord our God, and also with him who is not here with us this day. For you know how we lived in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the midst of the nations through which you passed, and you have seen their abominations, and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them. Lest there should be among you a man, or a woman, or family, or tribe, whose heart turns away this day from the Lord our God, to go serve the gods of those nations. Lest there should be among you a root that bears gall and wormwood. And it happen, when he hears the words of this curse, that he blesses himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, to destroy the moist with the dry. The Lord will not pardon him, but then the anger of the Lord and his jealousy will smoke against that man, and all the curse that is written in this book shall lie on him, and the Lord will blot out his name from under the sky. The Lord will set him apart to evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that is written in this book of the law. The generation to come, your children who shall rise up after you, and the foreigner who shall come back from a far land, shall say, when they see the plagues of that land, and the sickness with which the Lord has made it sick, and that the whole land of it is sulfur and salt, and a burning, that it is not sown, nor bears, nor any grass grows therein, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in his anger and in his wrath. Even all the nations shall say, Why has the Lord done thus to this land? And what means the heat of this great anger? Then men shall say, Because they forsook the covenant of the Lord, the God of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, and went and served other gods and worshipped them, gods that they didn't know, and that he had not given to them. Therefore the anger of the Lord was kindled against this land, to bring on it all the curse that is written in this book. And the Lord rooted them out of their land in anger, and in wrath, and in great indignation, and cast them into another land as at this day. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things that are revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Chapter 30. It shall happen, when all these things are come on you, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations where the Lord your God has driven you, and shall return to the Lord your God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command you this day, you and your children, with all your heart and with all your soul, that then the Lord your God will turn your captivity, and have compassion on you, and will return, and gather you from all the nations, where the Lord your God has scattered you. If any of your outcasts are in the uttermost parts of the heavens, from there will the Lord your God gather you, and from there will he bring you back. And the Lord your God will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it, and he will do you good, and multiply you above your fathers. The Lord your God will circumcise your heart, and the heart of your seed, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, that you may live. The Lord your God will put all these curses on your enemies, and on those who hate you, who persecuted you. You shall return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments which I command you this day. The Lord your God will make you plenteous in all the work of your hand, in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of your ground, for good. For the Lord will again rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers, if you shall obey the voice of the Lord your God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law. If you turn to the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. For this commandment, which I command you this day, it is not too hard for you, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that you should say, who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it to us, and make us to hear it, that we may do it? Neither is it beyond the sea that you may say, who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it to us, and make us to hear it, that we may do it? But the word is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. Behold, I have set before you this day life and good, and death and evil, and that I command you this day to love the Lord your God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his ordinances, that you may live and multiply, and that the Lord your God may bless you in the land where you go in to possess it. But if your heart turns away, and you will not hear, but shall be drawn away, and worship other gods, and serve them, I denounce to you this day, that you shall surely perish. You shall not prolong your days in the land, where you pass over the Jordan to go in to possess it. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. Therefore choose life, that you may live, you and your seed, to love the Lord your God, to obey his voice, and to cleave to him. For he is your life, and the length of your days, that you may dwell in the land which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Chapter 31. Moses went and spoke these words to all Israel. He said to them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in. And the Lord has said to me, you shall not go over this Jordan. The Lord your God, he will go over before you. He will destroy these nations from before you, and you shall dispossess them, and Joshua, he shall go over before you, as the Lord has spoken. The Lord will do to them as he did to Sihon and to Og, the kings of the Amorites, and to their land whom he destroyed. The Lord will deliver them up before you, and you shall do to them according to all the commandment which I have commanded you. Be strong and of good courage. Don't be afraid, nor be scared of them. For the Lord your God, it is he who does go with you. He will not fail you nor forsake you. Moses called to Joshua, and said to him in the sight of all Israel, Be strong and of good courage, for you shall go with this people into the land which the Lord has sworn to their fathers to give them, and you shall cause them to inherit it. The Lord, he it is who does go before you. He is with you. He will not fail you, neither forsake you. Don't be afraid, neither be dismayed. Moses wrote this law, and delivered it to the priests, the sons of Levi, who bore the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and to all the elders of Israel. Moses commanded them, saying, At the end of every 7 years, in the set time of the year of release, in the feast of tents, when all Israel is come to appear before the Lord your God, in the place which he shall choose, you shall read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Assemble the people, the men and the women and the little ones, and your foreigner who is within your gates, that they may hear, and that they may learn, and fear the Lord your God, and observe to do all the words of this law, and that their children, who have not known, may hear and learn to fear the Lord your God, as long as you live in the land where you go over the Jordan to possess it. The Lord said to Moses, Behold, your days approach that you must die. Call Joshua, and present yourselves in the tent of meeting, that I may give him a charge. Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves in the tent of meeting. The Lord appeared in the tent in a pillar of cloud, and the pillar of cloud stood over the door of the tent. The Lord said to Moses, Behold, you shall sleep with your fathers, and this people will rise up and play the prostitute after the strange gods of the land, where they go to be among them, and will forsake me, and break my covenant which I have made with them. Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall come on them, so that they will say in that day, Haven't these evils come on us because our God is not among us? I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evil which they shall have worked, and that they are turned to other gods. Now therefore write this song, and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swore to their fathers, flowing with milk and honey, and they shall have eaten and filled themselves and grown fat, then they will turn to other gods and serve them, and despise me, and break my covenant. It shall happen, when many evils and troubles are come on them, that this song shall testify before them as a witness, for it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed. For I know their imagination which they framed this day, before I have brought them into the land which I swore. So Moses wrote this song the same day, and taught it to the children of Israel. He gave Joshua the son of Nun a charge, and said, Be strong and of good courage, for you shall bring the children of Israel into the land which I swore to them, and I will be with you. It happened, when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book, when they were finished, Moses commanded the Levites, who bore the ark of the covenant of the Lord, saying, Take this book of the law, and put it by the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a witness against you. For I know your rebellion, and your stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, you have been rebellious against the Lord, and how much more after my death? Assemble to me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to witness against them. For I know that after my death you will utterly corrupt yourselves, and turn aside from the way that I have commanded you, and evil will happen to you in the latter days, because you will do that which is evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. Moses spoke in the ears of all the assembly of Israel the words of this song until they were finished. Chapter 32. Give ear, you heavens, and I will speak. Let the earth hear the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall condense as the dew, as the small rain on the tender grass, as the showers on the herb. For I will proclaim the name of the Lord. Ascribe greatness to our God. The rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are justice. A God of faithfulness and without iniquity, just and right is he. They have dealt corruptly with him, they are not his children. It is their blemish. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Do you thus repay the Lord, foolish people and unwise? Isn't he your father who has bought you? He has made you and established you. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask your father, and he will show you, your elders, and they will tell you. When the Most High gave to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the children of men, he set the bounds of the peoples, according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, in the waste howling wilderness. He compassed him about, he cared for him, he kept him as the apple of his eye, as an eagle that stirs up her nest, that flutters over her young. He spread abroad his wings, he took them, he bore them on his feathers. The Lord alone did lead him, there was no foreign god with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth. He ate the increase of the field. He made him to suck honey out of the rock, oil out of the flinty rock, butter of the herd and milk of the flock, with fat of lambs. rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the finest of the wheat. Of the blood of the grape you drank wine. But Jeshurun grew fat and kicked. You have grown fat, you are grown thick, you are become sleek. Then he forsook God who made him. Lightly he esteemed the rock of his salvation. They moved him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed to demons which were no gods, to gods that they didn't know, to new gods that came up of late, which your fathers didn't dread. Of the rock that became your father you were unmindful. You have forgotten God who gave you birth. The Lord saw it and abhorred them, because of the provocation of his sons and his daughters. He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very perverse generation, children in whom is no faithfulness. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. I will move them to jealousy with those who are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger. It burns to the lowest Sheol. It devours the earth with its increase. It sets on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap evils on them. I will spin my arrows on them. They shall be wasted with hunger, and devoured with burning heat and bitter destruction. The teeth of animals I will send on them, with the poison of crawling things of the dust. Outside shall the sword bereave, inside the chambers terror. It shall destroy both young man and virgin, the suckling with the man of gray hairs. I said I would scatter them afar. I would make the memory of them to cease from among men. Were it not that I feared the provocation of the enemy, lest their adversaries should judge wrongly, lest they should say, Our hand is exalted, the Lord has not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, there is no understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000, or two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them, except the Lord had delivered them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom, of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of serpents, the cruel venom of asp. Isn't this laid up in store with me, sealed up among my treasures? Vengeance is mine in recompense, at the time when their foot shall slide, for the day of their calamity is at hand. The things that are to come on them shall make haste, for the Lord will judge his people. Repent himself for his servants, when he sees their power is gone. There is none remaining, shut up or left at large. He will say, Where are their gods, the rock in which they took refuge, which ate the fat of their sacrifices, and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you, let them be your protection. See now that I, even I, am he. There is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. There is none who can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven, and say, As I live forever, if I whet my glittering sword, and my hand takes hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my adversaries, and will recompense those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, with the blood of the slain and the captives, from the head of the leaders of the enemy. Rejoice, you nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries. He will make expiation for his land and for his people. Moses came and spoke all the words of this song in the ears of the people, he and Joshua the son of Nun. Moses made an end of speaking all these words to all Israel. He said to them, Set your heart to all the words which I testify to you this day, which you shall command your children to observe to do, even all the words of this law. For it is no vain thing for you, because it is your life, and through this thing you shall prolong your days in the land, where you go over the Jordan to possess it. The Lord spoke to Moses that same day, saying, Go up into this mountain of Abarim, to Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, that is over against Jericho, and see the land of Canaan, which I give to the children of Israel for a possession, and die on the mountain where you go up, and be gathered to your people, as Aaron your brother died on Mount Hor, and was gathered to his people. because you trespassed against me in the midst of the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah of Kadesh in the wilderness of Sin, because you didn't sanctify me in the midst of the children of Israel. For you shall see the land before you, but you shall not go there into the land which I give the children of Israel.